of this, not only at school, but then in the social media. Her mom tried to take away the cell phone that would then have these applications. But when she gets her phone back, she gets a new application, and this cyberbullying keeps coming through. And so we have before us legislation that would get educators and parents more involved in trying to prevent this kind of thing. But unfortunately, Congress is crippled by gridlock, and for the last 6 years has been unable to pass any major education bill that contains this anti-cyberbullying language. And that's why I would suggest that my colleague would consider that this provision on its own, separate from the broader bill, to expedite our response to what has become an increasing problem. And the measure would require elementary and secondary schools to better address bullying and harassment. It calls on schools to report incidents of bullying to parents and others so that we can try and prevent such conduct in the future. I've asked the leadership, as has my colleague, the leadership of the committee, to consider that they consider expediting this passage because of the national attention to this tragic incident in Florida. And I can tell you it's all over Florida.
Yeah, good girl.
I want to thank Senator Casey for his sponsorship and continuing leadership on this issue over the last 2 Congresses, along with Senator Kirk. He and Senator Kirk have introduced the Safe Schools Improvement Act, which is included in the broader reauthorization of No Child Left Behind legislation. And if we could then focus on this specific issue, and the broader bill's not going to pass, to get this out in the midst of this enormous personal tragedy. Now, I just can't understand when for 2 years this has happened to a young child. Her mom is doing everything possible, even pulling her out of one school and putting in another. And yet it continues. And it drives this young lady to go into an abandoned cement plant and take her life because she doesn't think her life is worth living as a result of all of these taunts. Thank you for your leadership, Senator Casey. Let's see if we can move it.
What happens when people are left to their own